قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله الأمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to our Sunday Ask Zad episode, coming to you after Asr prayer here in Mecca. Our first question from the email is from Salim. He says, what does being cursed by Allah and the Prophet ﷺ mean? Does this mean there is no hope for that person? First of all, the scholars defined Allah's curse, or in Arabic is known as al-la'n, to be expelling someone from Allah's mercy. And this is only given to major sins. So when the Prophet ﷺ, for example, curses women who pluck their eyebrows or can attach attachments and extensions to their hair, or those who do tattoos, etc. This is from the Prophet ﷺ asking Allah Azza wa Jal to expel them from His mercy, which means that this is a major sin, or these are major sins. So this is when the curse of Allah Azza wa Jal takes place, and this only takes place over major sins. And this is why when scholars defined major sins, they said that it is any sin that Allah Azza wa Jal has cursed the one who does it, among other conditions. So one of the first conditions is to gain Allah's curse for doing such a sin. Now, having said that, humans may curse. So I may curse someone, and this would not be as when Allah curses someone or when the Prophet ﷺ curses someone. But when individuals curse others, this is swearing and cursing, not actual getting them or expelling them out of Allah's mercy, because this type of curse is from a human to human. It's like dua. It may happen, it may not happen, but this is also something that is sinful in Islam, for a Muslim to curse another Muslim. So the question of Salim, if someone was cursed by Allah, so for example, when Allah Azza wa Jal curses those who deal in riba, or those who pay and receive bribes, does this mean that they are doomed and there's no hope for that person? The answer is no. All sins committed on earth, if a person repents before he dies and fulfills the conditions of repentance, Allah, the most forgiving, the most merciful, the one who repents, will repent upon him and will accept his repentance. So all what you have to do is ask Allah for forgiveness, quit whatever you have been doing, feel remorseful, return whatever is for the people to the people that you have taken unlawfully, and intend firmly within your heart not to do that sin again, and inshallah you will be saved. Shakir says, I use a credit card for day-to-day purchases and pay my balance in full at the end of every month. So I do not incur any interest or riba. With this credit card, after every 3 to 4 months, I get vouchers to spend in a shop. The value of the vouchers is dependent on how much I had spent on the credit cards. Is using these vouchers sinful? This is known as cashback. And I think I've answered a similar question many times before, but because the question is there, we will answer it again. Cashback is halal depending on the institution that it is giving it to you. Meaning, why do we say that if I open a bank account and they refund me or give me instantly $100 as a gift, why do we say that this $100 is haram and riba? Isn't this similar to cashback? The answer would be is to understand what is the relationship between me and this financial institution. When I go to a bank and I have a bundle of cash and I open a bank account, what will the bank do with this money? If they would put it in a safe deposit box, not to touch it, not to use it, in this case, this is known as amana. It's a deposit. Even if the bank was burnt to the ground, in addition to my money, I cannot come and say, give me my money back. They said, it's gone, it's burnt. I can say, this is none of my business. I gave you my money as a deposit. And you would say, yes, but the bank was burnt to the ground. It's not our fault. It's an act of Allah Azza wa Jal and a force majeure, as they call it. In this case, yes. If they give you cash back, there's no problem because you did not lend them anything. But anyone who goes and opens a bank account and deposits his money is a loan to the bank. That's why the bank takes it, deals with it, lends it to other in riba, invests it in stocks or in any whatever it wants. So if the branch was burnt to the ground, I can claim my money an hour later, and the bank is forced to give it back to me because it is not an amana. It is an actual loan from me to the bank. Therefore, if the bank gives me calendars or pens or gifts, if I'm a VIP customer and they give me a cell phone at the end of the year as a token of appreciation, this is all haram and riba. If you understand this concept now, we move on to cashbacks. Credit cards are lending you money and you have 40 days grace period to pay them back or they will charge you with riba. So here, you're not lending them, they're lending you. So, Shakir, if it is as you say, that you pay before the grace period is over, so there's no riba, none whatsoever. And I will not go into the ruling of getting a credit card, but if you have one already, and you buy and you pay them immediately, and they give you cash back, this is okay. You can use the voucher, you can use the money, no problem in that. But if you have a debit card is a card that you charge with money. So you give them money in advance so that you can use it. Now you are lending the debit card company money and you're using it over time and they're giving you cash back. This is interest on the loan that you had given them. Likewise, apps that require that you give them money. So you deposit 10,000 riyals and you can transfer money with that. And you can pay your phone bills, you can pay electricity bills, you can do whatever you want until it is over. Then you have to recharge it again. And they give you cash back, it's the same concept. You're lending them money and they're giving you profit and percentage, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. And finally, Amatullah says, when a husband and wife have intercourse during day time in Ramadan, do they both have to fast 6 consecutive days to make it up, or only the husband. This expiation, this kafara, is for the individual who violated Ramadan day by having intercourse while fasting. So the answer would be, if the wife was willing and cooperating, she also has to give the expiation, which is freeing a slave, if not possible, fasting 60 days consecutively, if not possible, then feeding 60 poor people, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. We have Kamil from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah wa barakatuh.
May Allah bless you for your effort from this program.
Ameen, Jazakallah khair.
Sheikh, I have something to ask you. Keep disturbing me. It was about when I was undergraduate. I used to receive the pension scheme on behalf of my late mother. She used to work with the government. Okay.
Okay.
It was about the monthly basis for 5 years period. For your information, the government has set many conditions, such as maintaining good conduct, staying away from the criminal activities. The list goes on. But I want to highlight you one particular matter that as a recipient, as a student, you are not allowed to get married. Government opinions that once you get married, you are capable yourself. So for the first, second year, no problem for me. On the third year, I got married. The marriage was conducted abroad, so my government didn't know. So I want to know, from this period, from the third to fifth period, is it the money I receive are permissible or are legitimate money or otherwise?
The money you're receiving, Kamil, is for what?
For, our monthly expenses while you study, for such as university fee, etc.
And it states in the conditions that you must not be married?
Yeah, because in government opinions that once you got married, that you are capable yourself, and one more thing, that it will jeopardize your studies. And
do they insist that the marriage takes place in your country or outside, or they don't specify?
They didn't clarify this one. I was studied in Egypt, so government didn't know. I didn't declare my marriage, so I keep receive this monthly basis aid from the government. But
okay.
I had lied to the government.
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah. Isra from Belgium.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah.
So my question is, a woman is divorced for the third time, and she has a 10 months baby from him, and she is given the custody, and she doesn't have income because she is divorced. Now she has to go back to her parents. So the question is, does the ex-husband oblige to buy her the flight ticket? And also, like, can you explain what is the rights of the divorced woman with a child?
So the custody is with the woman or with the husband?
With the woman.
Okay, I will answer, inshallah. Yasir from Emirates.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah wa barakatuh.
Allah khalid. Sheikh, I have a question for regards to praying in the mosques with gaps. I mean, would I be taking a sin if I don't follow the opinion of this?
By not praying?
Yes, by not praying in the congregation.
Okay, I will answer, inshallah. Mahfoud al-Din from Indonesia.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, I have a question regarding the current situation that we are now facing. In my area, there are some masjids which they are not abiding to the COVID-19 health protocols. So is it better for me to find a particular masjid which are following the health protocols, or shall I pray home? Please enlighten Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Assalamu wa barakatuh. Muhammad Farhan from the Philippines.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah.
How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. What can I do for you, Muhammad?
My question, Sheikh, is Sheikh, what is the fatwa, Sheikh, in who can or who are qualified to give fatwa? Jazakallah khair.
Again?
What is the fatwa, Sheikh, and who can or who are qualified to give fatwa, Sheikh? Jazakallah khair.
What is the meaning of fatwa?
What is the fatwa, Sheikh?
Okay. I will answer, inshallah. Abu Hafs from Bangladesh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh.
Salam wa barakatuh. Yes, sir.
Sheikh, can you hear me? Sheikh, my question is, I face a situation very often, unfortunately, and that is my mom, my sister, and my grandma, they like go to the relatives' houses for different kind of occasions, might be birthdays, etc., haram events where it's like mixed together. It might be innovative events or something like this. Now, Sheikh, when they go either on Uber or like the driver is not a mahram or only a mahram to my grandma. So, Sheikh, in such situations, is it mandatory for me to accompany my parents?
Are they traveling or only within the city limits?
Within the city limits.
Okay.
By car. Like I fear like there's seclusion, so do I have to?
I will answer you, inshallah. Nishan from Sri Lanka.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah.
Sheikh, I'm a layman. I don't know any usul al-fiqh. So when there is a situation where there are difference of opinions among the scholars, so how should I choose the opinion of scholar?
Okay, I will answer, inshallah. Rashid from Tunisia.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah.
I want to correct you. Muhammad Farhan asked you, how can someone be qualified to give a fatwa? Anyway, my question is, my two friends are always helping little girl, clothe her, feed her, clean her. And her parents say that they don't have money, but they, subhanAllah, they always buy cigarettes. So I'm asking you, what to do, because I think they are lying to my friends to get money. Should my friends stop helping them or what? Jazakallahu khair.
Wajazak. And Shihab from Bangladesh.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, do we have to say Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim and Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim before Surah Fatiha and Bismillah before other surah in silent prayer and loud prayer both? What if the Imam is so fast in the silent rakah?
Okay, I will answer, inshallah. And Suhail from India.
Salam, Sheikh.
Salamullah.
Sheikh, my question is that there is a gold scheme where we need to give like 25 grams of value on today's rate. And after 3 months, we need to give the rest of the value based on today's rate or the market rate after 3 months, whichever is lower, and buy that jewelry. Like we know that in buying gold, we need to hand-to-hand transaction. Is this a transaction permissible, Sheikh?
Okay, I will answer, inshallah. Aftab from India.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Can you mute your music, Aftab? This is an Islamic program. What do you want to do? Kill us? So I think this is your house clock giving the time for the hour?
Yeah, Sheikh. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry for that.
Tub ilallah. Go ahead.
Can I ask my question?
Yes, go ahead.
So, Sheikh, my question is that, is there any deadline for taking bath on Friday? Like people here say that we must take bath before 12 p.m. or something like that.
Okay. I will answer, inshallah. And we have Ali from Pakistan. Ali. Ali, bye. Okay, I think Ali is gone. Farzana from the United Emirates. Farzana.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamualaikum.
Sheikh, my question is that here in UAE, the Fajr Azan is given at 5:45. So when should I pray Tahajjud?
Okay, I will answer inshallah. Zainuddin from UK.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Sheikh Assim Al-Hakeem from Saudi Arabia.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Long time I haven't heard your voice.
I know. You said this to Suhaib a few days ago. So my question is, I was listening to Mercy to the World last night, and you mentioned something about Abdullah ibn Unais, may Allah be pleased with him, and how the Prophet had given him a stick, and the Prophet used to have a spear called Anazah, if I'm not mistaken. And so my question is it permissible for us to do it in our time?
Can you repeat? I didn't hear the beginning of your question.
Abdullah ibn Unais had a stick.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm asking, is it permissible for you to keep a stick in your will or to write it in your will? And Sheikh, can you just allow me one more question, please? Or no?
If I give you some slack, everybody would accuse me of being unfair and unjust. So please forgive me. Okay. Then Abdul Aziz from the UK. Abdul Aziz.
Sheikh, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So, basically, my question today, it pertains to the adhkar to be said after the salah. So this could be, fard or sunnah. And with me, basically, I have like a kind of specific kind of routine of adhkar that I do, after the salawat. So is that, could that, be a bid'ah in any way, shape or form? Or
these adhkar are the prescribed adhkar the Prophet taught us ﷺ to say after the salah, or is something that you do out of your own?
It's something that, because at home I have like a book of the dua, and I've kind of memorized like all of because there's a section for that adhkar after the salah, and I just kind of memorize those dua, and then I do it after the fard.
Okay, I will answer you inshallah, Abdul Aziz. Okay, with this we will begin inshallah answering the questions, hopefully, and seeking guidance from Allah Azza wa Jal. Kamil from Saudi Arabia, he says that in his country, they give out benefits to help university students. And they have a set of conditions, and among the conditions that the student does not get married. So he got married the second or the third year without informing the government, and most likely by lying, as he's mentioned at the end of his question. So he's saying, is this money halal or haram? No, this grant is given to you providing that you provide or fulfill the conditions. If you do not fulfill the conditions, the money you take is not halal. Similarly, a lot of the people in some countries, they have sort of benefits given to the family, providing that the couple, the husband and wife, do not earn more than X amount of rupees, for example, or of any other currency. So they forge certificates to prove that they're getting less than what they're actually receiving, and they receive benefits from the government. This is haram money. Whether it's a kafir government or a Muslim government, this is cheating and lying, and Muslims do not cheat nor lie. What to do with the money? Kamil asks. You have to give it back to the government if it's possible. If not, then spend it to or upon the poor and needy in your country. Isra from Belgium, she says, a woman was divorced for the last and third time. So who's obliged to buy her a ticket to go back home? Is the ex-husband obliged to do that? The answer is no. This is the Islamic ruling, because once a woman is divorced for the third time, there is no allowance, there is no provision from the ex-husband, there is no shelter to be provided for her. And this is well established in the Sunnah. So the iddah period for the one who's divorced the first time or the second time is 3 monthly cycles. And within these 3 monthly cycles, she must be provided by her husband, who just divorced her, with a house to live in, with food, medicine, etc., all what she needs to sustain a normal, noble life. If she was divorced for the third time, immediately this bond is broken and it's over. So he's not obliged to give her anything, nor to buy her the ticket, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. But if she wants to live somewhere else, if she wants to go to her country, and she has the right of custody, this is an issue of dispute among scholars. The vast majority say that a divorced woman, a separated woman, mother, who has the right of custody, cannot take the child out of the country where the husband is, because this is where they were married, this is the place where he lives, so they should stay there. Some scholars say that this is not a fixed ruling. It depends on the husband, it depends on the woman, it depends on the welfare of the child. Maybe they live in Belgium and it's not a Muslim country, and she's going back to a Muslim country where the child would be raised as a Muslim and practice Islam freely, unlike some other countries. So this is judged case by case scenario and not a one size that fits all. Yasser from the Emirates, he says, I don't like the social distancing taking place in masjid. And I second that. But would I be sinful if I stay home and pray without going to the masjid? To me, I was reluctant in the beginning. And I personally did not pray in the masjids for a couple of months until I reflected upon it and sat and discussed it with some of the brothers. And they said that the only loser of the reward of the great steps walking to the masjid is you. If you pray home, you're going to be deprived of all of that. Now, if there is a sin, if, and this is a big IF, underlined, quote unquote, using bold font with color red. If there is a sin, it's not on you. The sin for praying with social distancing is on the one who mandated it. And if there is no sin in it, then why lose all this great reward? Go and pray, and inshallah, ask Allah Azza wa Jal to uplift this calamity and to restore back upon the Muslims their rituals, their sunnahs, their religious practices that they have been deprived from for the past year and so. Mahfoud from India says, the masjid next door does not abide by social distancing. So should he go and pray? Similarly, if you are afraid from being infected, which means that you don't go to the market, you don't go to work, you don't take public transportation, you don't mix with others, in this case, yes, your fear is genuine and you may pray home. And especially if you are someone with medical need, heart problems, diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, etc. So you're afraid of a weak immune system. Yeah, there is a legitimate reason for you to pray home. But if you're healthy and you go everywhere except the masjid, In this case, wear double masks and go and pray. Don't shake hands with people, alhamdulillah. Muhammad Farhan from the Philippines. He says, what's the meaning of fatwa? And who are qualified to give fatwa? Well, fatwa means a religious verdict over something. So it's an answer to a question or to a situation that requires a religious verdict. So fatwa can be in religion. If I ask someone, a mathematician, what is 1 + 1 equals? He says the fatwa is 2. The answer is no. This is not a fatwa. This is an answer to a question. But a fatwa is a religious verdict. And who are qualified? The scholars. The scholars of Islam who possess the tools that enable them to understand the sources of Islam, Quran, or the Sunnah, Ijma', consensus, analogy, al-qiyas, and they know the usul al-fiqh, the abrogated and abrogation, and they know the interpretation of the Quran in not necessarily in totality, but they can give fatwa in things that they have full capacity and knowledge over. So someone can give you fatwa in prayer issues because he knows inside out these issues. But he can't give you fatwa in zakat because this is not his field. So you have someone who's known as al-mujtahid, al-mutlaq, and someone who is not. And this is a long topic, but for us laymen, we should look for someone who is trustworthy in his knowledge, Islamic knowledge, in his religious practice, and that he is recommended by other scholars to give fatwa. Like Sheikh Al-Islam bin Taymiyyah did not give fatwa until so many people approved him from the scholars. Imam Malik, they say like 70 people approved him from the scholars of his time to give fatwa and so on. And Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best. Abu Hafs says from Bangladesh, my mom, my mother, and my sister and my grandmother, they may go to some relative's house, and this relative's house is in some other neighborhood within Dhaka or within the city we live in with an Uber driver. So am I sinful for not dropping them? The answer is no. There's nothing haram in 3 women or 2 women riding with a stranger, taking them to a place they want, like a taxi driver, a cab, or an Uber, or whatever, because there is no seclusion. Seclusion is when a man is with a woman. That's it. Nobody is with them in the cockpit, in the car itself. This is seclusion, which is haram. The third one is shaitan with them. You can imagine what he would incite them to do. So this is not prohibited for 3 women to travel, not to travel, to commute within the city limits with a non-mahram, and Allah knows best. Nishan, but having said that, Abu Hafs, what kind of a man allows his mother and daughter and sister to go with a stranger when he is already with them? They're going to a birthday party and it's haram. I should not assist them. That's true. But it's the worst of the 2 evils. Taking them is a chance to give them da'wah, to show them how beautiful Islam is, to make them love you and respect you so that whenever you give them advice, they would accept it. And it's an issue of dispute. There are scholars, though this is totally weak opinion, who say that birthday parties are permissible. So you have some room to maneuver, and Allah knows best. Nishan says, I am a layman, so what to do when scholars differ? We've answered this so many times, Nishan, and said that a layman must select one particular sheikh whom he trusts his religious knowledge and religious commitment, and he thinks of him as one of the best around. He believes that he's knowledgeable and he's logical in what he's saying, and he is credible. He's not just famous on social media or appears on TV screens or YouTube channel. No, he is a highly decorated a scholar, and he's consistent. So if you have one like that, you should follow him wherever he goes. Because you're a layman until you acquire a certain level of knowledge which allows you to differentiate between the different opinions and select what is more compatible with the Quran and the Sunnah. Rashid from Tunisia, first of all, he says, I'd like to correct you of Muhammad Farhan's question. Jazakallah khair, Rashid. I wrote it down. ما معنى الفتوى وما المؤهل للإفتاء. So, Jazakallah khair for the correction, but so many times we assume things which are not wrong, which are not correct. So, it is a lesson for all of us not to jump the gun, not to think that we know better than others. This is point number one. Point number two, his friends who are helping this child while her parents smoke. So does her parents' sin of smoking should allow you to discontinue the charity they're doing for the girl? Of course not. This is a sin that the parents do. So when you tell them that, no, they buy cigarettes, so you should not help the girl. They're helping the girl. They're feeding the girl. They're clothing the girl. They're interested in taking her to school and paying her fees. You have no right to interfere. And the Prophet said, عليه الصلاة والسلام, من حسن إسلام المرء تركه ما لا يعنيه. It is part of a Muslim's proper Islam to abandon and leave what's none of his business. So you don't have any right to say this to them or to discontinue such khair, such goodness coming to this girl because of a doubt you have in your head or some whispers that you have in your head. Maybe if we were to be 100% certain that they're misusing the money given to them rather than to the girl herself, maybe you can tell them to buy the girl something that is a material that she uses. So they buy her the food, they pay directly for her school fees, they do whatever, buy her clothes themselves rather than giving her parents cash, and Allah knows best. Shihab from Bangladesh says, is it mandatory to seek refuge in Allah from the shaitan and say Bismillah before the Fatiha or the Surah in the prayer? The answer is no. This is a highly recommended sunnah. So if someone intentionally skips A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim and Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim and prays, his prayer is valid. Suhail from India, he says there is a gold scheme, and there are many such gold schemes where you pay today's prices 25 grams of gold, so you purchase it, but you don't possess it. And after 3 months' time, you pay the balance according to the time after 3 months, and then they give you an amount that is equivalent to whatever you had paid for. So is this halal? This is totally haram. The initial 25 grams bought, which you did not possess, is totally riba, and the contract itself, where you pay the balance after 3 months, regardless of what you will receive, is also invalid and haram. Aftab says, what is the last time to perform ghusl for a Friday? First of all, Friday ghusl is an issue of dispute. The most authentic opinion is that it's not mandatory. It's highly recommended. But the last time to perform it is definitely before going to Friday. What's the point of not performing ghusl and going to Friday prayers and then coming back and perform ghusl? This has no value. It's like going to pray without wudu and then coming back home and performing wudu. The ghusl is related to the prayer itself. And this is why it starts from Fajr of a Friday, and it should end by the Friday itself, because if you attended the prayer without ghusl, then there is no use of it. Farzana from the Emirates, she says, the adhan of Fajr is at 5:35. So when should I pray tahajjud? You have 3 hours prior to that to pray tahajjud. You can pray tahajjud until 5:34.55. Because the moment the muezzin says, Allahu Akbar, this is the end of witr time, of tahajjud time. So you can pray as long as you wish before 5:35. Zainuddin from the UK, he says about a stick that was given to Abdullah ibn Unais and him asking to have it with him in his grave when they bury him. Now the stick was given to him by the Prophet ﷺ. I'm not sure of the authenticity of this hadith, but there is no reason for me not to believe it. What's the ruling on putting in your will that XYZ to be with me in my grave if it has no value? Meaning, if I say, I'd like you to put £1 million, £1 million in my grave and bury it with me, this is totally prohibited, not permissible. But if it's something like a diary, if it's something like a ring that has no value, but it has sentimental values for you, and you ask them to bury it with you, this seems permissible. There's nothing wrong in that. Abdullah ibn Unais asked for this stick for a purpose, may Allah be pleased with him, and that is because it was given to him from the Prophet ﷺ, and we know that anything that relics or whatever that belong to the Prophet ﷺ, we can seek blessings of Allah, seek barakah from it, like his cloak, like his clothes, like his sweat, etc. So this is why he asked for that. Now, we don't want to open the door for people to say, oh Sheikh, when I die, I'd like to have my kitten with me. So many people, especially in the UK, are so obsessed with their cats. And they have funerals, and when the cat dies, I get tons of mail saying, Sheikh, will my cat be with me in Jannah? I don't know, will it have hur'in as well? What is this? So there is this possession, or actually obsession, where people have towards their cats, so I don't want to open the door. Generally speaking, if it's something that's not it's worthless, it has no value, and people, the heirs would not call for, it can be buried with you. Abdul Aziz, this is our final question for today, inshallah. Abdul Aziz from the UK says, I have a book where a lot of the adhkar are written on it. And these adhkar are not the prescribed one that we should say after salat. So can I say it after salat? The answer is no. You are allowed to say the adhkar that were taught to us, the prescribed ones by the Prophet ﷺ to us. Yeah, you can say that, Ayatul Kursi, the last 3 quls, Allahumma anta salam minka salam, etc. The whole 9 yards, no problem. Now, if you have other adhkar, which is not haram by itself, but it was not said by the Prophet ﷺ after particular salat, then doing that would become an innovation, because you're adding something to the doing of the Prophet ﷺ, which he did not do. You can do that between Maghrib and Isha. You can do that after Isha, before midnight, after midnight, when it's a general time, not related to, yeah, I finished my Maghrib, now I'm doing my adhkar, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. This is all the time we have. Until we meet next Saturday, I leave you fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين.